You know that feeling, that invisible pull to just go along with the group, even when your gut is screaming that something's off? Well, it's a force that's as real and as powerful as gravity. It's a kind of social gravity that keeps us all in orbit around our tribe. And today, we're going to break down exactly what that force is and how it shapes, well, pretty much everything we do.
So let me just ask you this right up front. Imagine a situation where everyone around you is saying one thing, but your own eyes, your own senses are telling you something completely different. Who do you trust? The crowd or your own eyes? Now, this isn't just some philosophical question. It's the basis of a truly fascinating and kind of mind-blowing study about us.
All right, to get into this, we've got to go back, all the way back to the 1950s, to a psychologist named Solomon Asch. He designed what, on the surface, looked like a really simple vision test. But what he was really studying, well, that was something much, much more profound about who we are.
Okay, I want you to really picture this. Put yourself in this situation. You walk into a room, you sit down at a table with a group of total strangers, and you're told, hey, thanks for coming in. We're just doing a quick, easy vision test. Nothing to worry about.
So the researcher holds up two cards. The first card has one line on it. Let's just call it line X. The second card has three different lines labeled A, B, and C. Your job is super simple. Just say out loud which line, A, B, or C, is the exact same length as line X. Easy enough, right? And I mean, you look at it, and it's a piece of cake. The answer is obviously C. It's not a trick question. It's not ambiguous in any way. Anyone can see it. And for the first few rounds of the experiment, that's exactly what happens. Everyone agrees on the right answer. No problem. But then something changes. The researcher holds up another set of cards, and the answer is just as clear as it was before. Only this time, what the group starts saying, it just doesn't line up with what you're seeing. The first person to answer confidently says the wrong answer. Let's say A. You probably think, okay, that's weird. But then the second person also says A. Then the third person says A. And the fourth. One by one, every single other person in that room gives the same blatantly incorrect answer. And now, it's your turn. And what Ash saw in the one person who wasn't in on the secret was just fascinating. They'd get this look of complete bewilderment. Their eyes would pop open. Sometimes they'd let out a nervous little laugh, looking around the room, checking other people's faces, almost like they were thinking, is this a joke? And with every single person who gave the wrong answer, you could just see their anxiety start to build. This is the moment of truth. The pressure becomes absolutely immense. What started out as this simple, boring vision test has suddenly turned into a full-blown battle between what you can clearly see and what an entire room full of people is telling you is true. You start to question everything, your perception, maybe even your own sanity. So, as you've probably guessed by now, all the other people in the room, they were actors. The whole thing was a setup. The experiment was designed for one reason, to measure just how powerful group pressure really is. And the results? They were staggering. Ash found out that the size of the crowd was a huge deal. If it was just one actor giving the wrong answer, the real subject usually just shrugged it off. With two actors, the effect was still pretty small. But once you hit three or more actors all giving the same wrong answer, conformity just shot through the roof. That pull to go along with them became almost irresistible. So get this. By the end of it all, a shocking 75% of the subjects caved to group pressure and gave the wrong answer at least once. 3 out of every 4 people chose to agree with a crowd they knew was wrong rather than trust their own eyes. That is the power of the tribe. So what does a line test from the 1950s have to do with our lives today? Well, pretty much everything, because this was never really about matching lines on a card. It's about a fundamental human instinct. What Ash was studying has a name. It's called social conformity. And really, it's just that deep internal pressure we all feel to follow the rules of our group, our friends, our family, our culture, even when our own gut is telling us to do something totally different. And we do this all the time, usually without even realizing it. When we're not sure how to act in a situation, what's our first instinct? We look around. We see what everyone else is doing. It's why we pore over reviews on Amazon or Yelp. We are constantly trying to figure out what the normal thing to do is. And this is wild. It's not just a human thing.
One study found that if a chimpanzee learns a really effective way to crack nuts and then joins a new group that uses a worse method, the chimp will actually abandon its own better technique just to fit in. It literally chooses belonging over being right.
So this all leads to this fundamental conflict that we all face every single day, whether we realize it or not. It's this constant tension between being accepted by our tribe and being true to what we believe. See, at our core, we're social creatures. We want to get along, we want to belong. And because of that, the psychological reward of being accepted, that amazing feeling of fitting in, it often feels so much better than the reward of winning an argument, or looking smart, or even finding the objective truth.
It all comes down to this really simple, powerful idea. On most days, we would honestly rather be wrong with the crowd than be right all by ourselves. There's a real comfort, a real safety in being wrong together. Standing alone, even when you know you're right, well, that can be a really cold, lonely place.
This is exactly why changing our habits can be so incredibly hard. You see, if a new habit helps you fit in better with your tribe, like say all your friends join the same gym and you join too, that change feels attractive and easy. But if your new habit challenges the tribe, like you're the only one in your friend group who decides to stop drinking, that change suddenly becomes really unattractive and incredibly difficult. You're fighting against that social gravity.
So this pull of the crowd, this social gravity, it's a constant force. It's always there. So the real question isn't how we escape it, because honestly, we probably can't. The real question is how we become aware of it. So I'll leave you with this to think about. In your own life, when is your tribe pulling you forward, making you better? And when might it be holding you back from what you know is right?